Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mayday 2023 in review. Really excited to have you join us. Just going to give everyone a few seconds to filter through, and then we will get started. Yeah, really excited to just give you a recap on what's happened in 2023, check in with our product vision, and then give you a bit of a peek at what's to come in 2024. All right, great stuff. Well, look, let's get started. So my name's David Tuck. I'm the co-founder and CEO here at Mayday, and I'm really excited to have you join us this morning for our run through of our product journey throughout 2023 and that sneak peek into what's coming in 2024. It's been an amazing year, and we're so excited to give you an insight into what's coming in the next year. I'm going to hand over to Griff to introduce himself.
Hey everyone, great to have you here. Yeah, I'm Griff. I'm co-founder and CTO here at Mayday. And yeah, really excited to review the year with you all.
Amazing. And it's such a kind of core part of our DNA to build in public and share what we're doing. I write a build in public blog starting up again about building Mayday and our journey. And we've been thrilled going back a year ago now to when we published our public product vision to then do these quarterly touch points to reflect on what we've built and then provide some insight into what's coming ahead. And we've been so grateful. We've benefited hugely from your insights and the way that you have shaped our long-term vision and the features that we build. So it's a great opportunity for us to acknowledge that and just how grateful we are for all of that input. And hopefully we'll continue to get more and more of that input to help shape all of the exciting things that we have coming up. So there will be Q&A at the end, time for that, but please do fire through any questions in the Q&A or the chat box as we go. So first off, let's cover at a high level what happened in 2023. So we started the year with one product in Mayday Recharger for automating the recharge of costs and revenues between related entities. We now have 3 in our suite for multi-entity businesses that use Xero. So alongside Recharger, we have Brag, bank reconciliation across the group, and Balancer, Brag for cross-entity bank rec, where we have a bank feed item in one entity that relates to another, enabling you to deal with those without the pain of switching between Xero files, and Balancer for ensuring that never again will our intercompany balances not reconcile. It's been an incredible year. We were thrilled to win the Xero Emerging App Partner of the Year award for 2023 back in April. And I'm incredibly proud to end the year with 129 reviews on the Xero App Store at a perfect 5.0 star rating. So let's have a look at how all of those products have evolved over the year. I'm going to hand over to Griff.
Well, yeah, let's start with Recharger. So Recharger was the first product that we launched back in April 2022 now. So the very genesis of the Mayday suite, and it's seen a huge amount of transformation in 2023. The look and feel of it changed a lot. We completely redesigned the calculation flow. We've done a lot of work on the back end. We've refactored a lot of the code so that it's easier and more fluid for larger groups with higher transaction volumes. So it's really gone through quite a transformation. There's been a load of sort of small changes in there as well. Some small, some large. The ability to, for instance, batch change your tax treatments on the postings page, where you've got one tax type that you want to apply to every line on there. The ability to run your recharges mid-month. This was a feature request which came out from our customers. They really wanted to be able to either run those weekly if perhaps they're at a hospitality business, or maybe even just get a snapshot of their position mid-month so that they know what's coming. So we released that. The ability to post as invoice and bill, but then immediately mark those as paid off to the intercompany. We've always had the ability to post your recharges as journals, which is great, but sometimes you want those invoices and bills so that they sit there in your AR and AP, but you don't want to have to then go into Xero and manually mark those as paid to the intercompany in case you miss something, especially if you've got a large group with a lot of postings going in. That can be a bit of a pain. So now from straight within the Mayday interface, you can just tick a button and those will be paid to the intercompany. And obviously, if you're using Balancer as well, everything will reconcile off. We've then also added new rule types. So one rule type that's come out recently is balance sheet rules. We were finding a lot of our customers, or some of our customers at least, were posting their expenses that were going to be recharged into their balance sheet rather than their P&L, so that it didn't impact the P&L of the entity that had incurred the cost. And they would then want to recharge those onto a cost code in another entity. We've now got the ability for you to just set that up as an at value rule in Mayday, and we will just recharge those straight through in line with everything else. So it becomes really simple. We're going to be introducing more rule types as well. Pretty soon, we'll have Mayday rules available in the product. More on that soon, once that's live. And reasonably soon after that, we'll have inter-entity recharges, where maybe you need to move costs up and down the P&L or between tracking categories within the same Xero file. So that's Recharger. And like I say, that's received a huge amount of love this year. It's changed a lot. Those of you who were using us back in the early days will barely recognize it. Brag. So Brag we first released in January this year. Initially just a sort of match and search tabs were available. We've expanded that, so we're slowly building up to full feature parity with Xero's own sort of intra-entity reconciliation tool. So we released the Create tab. So Brag's always been great if the invoice or bill has already existed in the entity you want to reconcile it into, but sometimes it didn't exist yet. And so with the Create tab, you can choose which entity and tell us how much, and we will then create the invoice in the other entity, along with reconciling it, marking it as paid to the intercompany, and allowing you to do all of that from within the same screen. We also expanded it so that you could reconcile invoices both inter and intra-entity. So let's say you have a £1,000 invoice and £500 of that is going to live within that same entity, but 500 is somewhere else. You can do both of those now from within that same screen without leaving that Xero file, without leaving the Xero bank rec screen, which is great. And then Balancer. So we released Balancer back in May. The biggest changes we've done a load of UX changes to this. The whole screen, the transaction reconciliation screen has changed. We've introduced the matrix view, which loads of our customers and early adopters asked for. We changed how we worked with conversion balances. We pull that data through immediately from Xero, so the setup with the product is a hell of a lot simpler. And we also allowed you to create multiple loan entities, multiple loan accounts between the same two entities, which was, again, something that our early users really asked for. But I think the biggest change to Balancer since we've launched it is that there's now a free version. You can sign up to the product on my.getmayday.com. You can use Balancer for free for as long as you need. So if you're an accountant in practice with a load of customers and you're spending a load of time reconciling their intercompany loans at month end, you can now use Balancer for free on those and just get all the benefit of our transaction matching without paying a single thing, which is really exciting. So that's great. That's 2023. That's everything we've been working on. I'm going to hand back to Dave, and he's going to give you a bit of a look ahead to 2024.
Amazing. And yeah, just a huge congrats to Griff and to the entire team. It's been an absolutely blistering year. And Griff made the point there of, look at where we were at the start of the year and how it was just Recharger and how that'll be barely recognizable now for those huge volume of really substantive improvements that have been delivered alongside Brag, alongside Balancer. And it's been amazing the synergy we've seen, now that we have those three products in terms of we really kind of address your sort of multi-entity month-end pain points in a way that is just, it's really kind of lit up the market, and we've got great responses to it. So excited about where we are and where we get to go now. So just to kind of set the context, a year ago, we published our public product vision about our plans for Mayday. Right now, we're focused on the pain points of being a multi-entity business. If multi-entity, then Mayday was the title of one of our reviews on the Xero App Store. Our broader mission is to mend month-end, all of the work between accurate bookkeeping and accurate accounting, which takes up a huge amount of time, manual work, and is naturally prone to human error in closing month end so that management information can be delivered. We're really inspired to build the technology that can reduce all of that work down to a single click. So we continue to be excited to develop the multi-entity products that we have in Recharger, Brag, and Balancer. And then we've got the broader swathe of pain points, which will be relevant to multi-entity businesses, but will also be relevant to single entity businesses as well. And in the coming weeks, interdepartmental recharges, intra-entity recharges is us crossing that threshold for the first time in being able to address the needs of single entity businesses. And we're really just getting going. So as we look ahead to 2024, there'll be a lot more exciting work to develop our multi-entity product suite. Current thinking is that we'll have a big focus on Balancer in the first quarter. We do some great work, amazing work right now with our intelligent matching in Balancer to help you identify any asymmetrical postings in your intercompany balances, saving you a huge amount of time when it comes to your balance sheet recs, identifying where those posting asymmetries are in Xero. We're really excited to take that to the next level of properly fixing those for you, where something's been posted to the intercompany code in one entity, but posted to the P&L in the other, finding the relevant transactions so that you can make that fix intelligently, one click in Mayday, rather than needing to do that in Xero. The ability to post simultaneous journals out of Mayday into each entity in that intercompany balance sheet pair. And then accounts receivable and accounts payable matching is something that we've had people bring up a bunch. Right now we're doing it based on GL code, nominal code, account code, the intercompany balance sheet rec. We've also got people who have the need when it comes to matching intercompany AR and AP. So we're really excited to address that need as well. We've got a huge amount of incredibly valuable feedback to collate. We're sort of sprinting to the finish line with product development for Q4. Really excited to take stock of that feedback, and that will then inform the product development roadmap that we lock in for Q1 of 2024. And stay tuned for the webinar that we'll do around that in about a month's time. There's also a bunch of work that I think we sort of class as generalist sort of accountability work that we know that we want and need to deliver. Work around different levels of access rights within the product, a practice layer for accountants to manage their different client groups and entities on us. Accountability in the form of whether it be exportable reports or information about who's done what within us as a product. So we're really excited to get the input from our users and our partners about what they need there and address those needs in 2024. And then finally, the third kind of big thing for us in 2024 is moving from crossing the threshold with intra-entity recharges into first revenue recognition, so deferred revenue and accrued revenue, and then cost recognition, cost journals in the form of accruals and prepayments. So that is the kind of the next frontier that we're really excited to cross into in 2024. So to break it down into the three categories, it's continued enhancement of the multi-entity suite. It's those general sort of catch-all, access rights, accountant practice layer accountability. And then it is revenue recognition and cost recognition in the form of accruals and prepayments as big additional beasts of the month-end close process. So that is where we plan to go in 2024. And, I know I speak for both Griff and I, we are really kind of electrified with the opportunity that we have. We've been working, coming up for about 2.5 years now on Mayday, and we're thrilled with the progress we've made. We're thrilled with just the opportunity that we have to serve an ever greater volume of your needs and pains around the month-end close process and the automation of the tasks that you need to carry out. We absolutely could not have done it without you. Your input, your patience, your support, and just generosity of contribution and insights that you've shared with us. It both makes it incredibly rewarding to build the product and deliver the service that we are, but plays such a massive role in shaping what we are able to do for you. So on behalf of us, just a massive thank you for all of your support over the course of 2023. And we're really, really excited about what's to come in 2024. That's everything we had to run through today. I'll throw it open to the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, please do fire them through now. Yeah, amazing. So there's a question come through here about planning changes to your pricing structure. So absolutely, and that's necessarily going to be so with intra-entity recharges. We're going to need to come up with a cost structure for how we charge for a single entity business. Right now, our pricing is based on number of entities in your group, which works really well for the 3 multi-entity products, but we're going to need to work out how we price for intra-entity recharges, and also when it comes to revenue recognition and cost recognition. And I think intra-entity recharges is a really good example of that. Like Griff and I had a discussion about this the other day, that we will get that live and we will adjust our current pricing structure for single entity businesses so that you effectively pay the same price as a 2-entity group would today, recognizing that there will be businesses with a huge number of different divisions who get a huge amount of value out of that relatively modest subscription. But that's how we best learn what is the correct way to price for this as an exciting new feature. And that will that spirit will continue in terms of how we look at adjusting our pricing into 2024 to capture the ever increasing amount of value that we're really excited to deliver to you as our users. And then, next question: what are you focusing on in January? So we might answer this in 2 parts. I'll sort of defer to Griff first, and then I might pick up after that.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a couple of things we'll definitely be focusing on. The first is there's been a sort of big change to Bragg, a big UX overhaul, which would include overpayments and part payments. This has been sort of working on the background for a while now, and I think we'd love to sort of finish that off and get that live in January. And then also, as Dave mentioned earlier, a focus on Balancer, AR and AP matching, or recognizing, suggesting how you might fix a one-sided posting in Balancer from within that screen. Those are the sorts of things I think we're going to start to look at and start to think about.
And then we will have I think we might have sort of soft releases, but looking at the break coming up, we've got our Mayday rules for sort of fixed management charges where you're not pointing at base transactions in Xero. We've got our intra-entity recharges, which there's a huge body of kind of demand for that. We've had so many kind of requests for it, both in isolation where you have multiple divisions and you need to split stuff, but also where you want to layer that with your inter-entity recharges between your different group entities, and for example, sort of split stuff between different tracking categories in the entity receiving the recharge. So, you know, in all likelihood, we will do the kind of the big fanfare launch of that in January because of the time of the year. So I think January is going to be it's not going to be a quiet month. And then we've got a question here. Will you continue sharing quarterly updates in 2024? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, we love doing this.
And yeah, so I mean, the sort of quid pro quo of that is absolutely we will, and you know, if we can just ask if you can continue to share with us the sort of insights and suggestions and feedback that you have, then like that's just so beneficial for us. So yeah, please let's continue as we are, because it's played such a valuable role in helping us to build what we have today and shaping our vision for what we build now. Brilliant. Well, unless there are any more questions, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for all of your support this year. I hope everyone has a great and relaxing break, and we look forward to seeing you again in 2024. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.